Welcome along, everybody. We are ready, or almost ready, to get going here for Bronze Season 10, Round 4. And it is in the Saudi of Arabia's that we're heading to, of course, for this round as well. Evening from Serious Mushroom, Viet number 1 says Mushroom as well. Then Equaz, I support any Vietnamese races. Unfortunately, Equaz, I don't think Mushroom is Vietnamese, but nonetheless, we don't want to break it too early. But there we go. Yes, good stuff indeed. And maybe I haven't got round 4 on the calendar or something. But yeah, ALR Esports has said round 4, so that's good stuff. But we'll just yes, if that's correct, hopefully I got it correct. If not, I've got it wrong. But I will just edit the title eventually. Let me have a look then, shall we? Oh, it's round 3. Yes, bear me 2 seconds whilst I get this changed. But in the meantime, we'll get ourselves started then for round 4 of the what's it called, of the bronze division. Goodness me, I'm all over the place. I need to try and get this sorted whilst I'm still live. But welcome on to the stream then, everybody. Then we'll get ourselves ready to go then in just a second, hopefully. Bear with us 1 second, but we're just getting everyone into the lobby and ready to go. Where am I? Where is me lives? Where is me lives? There it is. Can't see it. Fantastic. Good stuff indeed. Well, luckily ALR Esports then, who's commenting, can go on to the YouTube and change the stream title, which would be fantastic. But I managed to type in Saudi Arabia at least, so that's correct. But there we go then. Good stuff indeed. And yes, hopefully we'll be underway in just a jiffy then. Yes, we are. So good stuff. We can crack on now. And yeah, getting ourselves ready to start off then here in the Saudi of Arabia's then Jeddah then, the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit then. The fastest street circuit on the calendar as well. Then 25 laps of action to unfold around here, of course, after qualifying. And we'll see how it's going to fare here for bronze as well. And to wrap up the Saudi Arabia's then for gold, silver and bronze, of course, we do have in the 100% league, we've got a bit of a double header then for including Saudi then, which of course is twinned with Azerbaijan. So there's going to be two 50% races then coming up in a 2 weeks time, I think. Then next week, tomorrow I should say, is Japan then for the 100% league. But anyway, we will crack on then. We've got ourselves into the lobby, and now we can get ourselves started then. I've closed the stream, and that's not helpful at all, but we're ready to go, and I think all the drivers are ready to go then in the garages as well then. So that's all good then. Right then. We'll crack on. We'll get ourselves started and we'll run through the championship order as well in just a jiffy once I get the stream back up so I can see what I'm doing. And goodness me, I'm all over the place today. Then we're starting early then, and I have already fluffed it there. Good stuff indeed then. So I am a quarter, says Serious Mushroom, then a quarter Vietnamese then for the Mushroom. Fantastic stuff indeed. We will get everything switched on then, and we will get our first driver out on track, I should say. It's going to be either Rozasky, sorry, or Valin. And out we go then for the Kick Sauber machines. And in the championship standings we go then. We've got who we got? We've got Rozasky actually leading the way then, of course, in the Kick Sauber. Then 55 points then for Rosa then in P1. Then we've got Dynamo Dan then in the Williams, and he's in P2 with 52 points for Williams. So only 3 points behind. Then we've got Hungry Styles then, who was he was shocked himself, wasn't he? But he's got himself P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Then at the moment, then after the first 3 rounds, then 38 points for Styles in the Racing Bull. Jamie then in P4 then for the McLaren. Then Smithy in P5 for Ferrari. Then Serious Mushroom P6 as well. They're looking good indeed in the Alpine, looking good in pink then, I should say. San then P7 for the McLaren as well. Then Rocket Lee in the Aston Martin P8. Then Reflection P9, and Stephen Anthony then in the top 10. Then in the constructors standings we've got Williams leading the way with 73 points. Then that's Dynamo Dan and Stephen Anthony. 1 point behind though is Kick Sauber, then Rozasky and Umabro, then 72 for them. And the top 3 is rounded off by McLaren then with 62 points then, so not far away then. 11 points off the top spot then for San and Jamie as it stands. Fantastic. And there we go then. We'll run through the rest of the order then. You can see all the standings live in the Discord then. Well, not live, they're just posted there. But they're in the Discord there as well then, if you scroll down and have a look through the standing section there. Did Murphy get Shroom's keys again, says Equazen, as oh dear, Steve, as Serious Mushroom lost his car keys then to get himself out of the garage, and not sure. Keys, says Equazen. After last week, starting at the back. Good luck all then, says Jet Slayer as well then, as well, hoping not to finish last then for a change. And go Sam, says Leandro as well then. Good stuff indeed. Is anyone from ALR's first race still in ALR Racing, says Equaz? The only one I can think of that could possibly be is Mr. Elite, actually, and he has been with ALR, I think, well, definitely from season 1. Not sure if he was in the very first race of ALR, but he was definitely in the first few races of ALR, and myself, but I don't count because I'm stuck here. But there we go then. Ballot, they're coming through into Sector 2 then. I think he's the first driver out on circuit then in the Kick Sauber, then reserving in place of Umabro tonight. So unfortunately, Umabro, sorry, not Umabro, Umabro won't be able to score anyway because he's not racing. But the Kick Sauber then are one driver down in terms of scoring for the constructors and joint constructors tally, that is. But we'll get on to that then in just a jiffy then. Nigel as well then. Nigel did race in season 1, but he joined about halfway through, I believe. And he actually won the title in the first season then for gold then. So even half a season then wasn't too much difficulty for Nigel then back in the day. So yeah, he's been looking to get himself back into form as well as Nigel then in the last few races for silver as well, which is good to see. Here comes Ballot then into the final corner. And let's see what the first time on the board is going to be then here tonight then in Saudi Arabia then for bronze as well. Then we'll find out now as we go towards the line then for the kick salver. Then the green machine crosses over the line in Saudi Arabia. Then it's a 29.497. Then puts himself P1 of course momentarily. Then Stephen Anthony has eclipsed that though with a 29.2. But Srivatsa, I can't pronounce his name again, sorry, has got himself P1 with a 28.0. Then can anybody rival that one? Liam with a 29.6 as well then into P, or down to P5 is 29.6 for Marsky, puts himself on the second row of the grid for the time being, that is as well. Then San then up into P2 with a 28.7. Then good stuff indeed from San, looking very strong out there as well then as we head through into the final quarter then for Reflection in the Aston Martin. Spain Season 1 for Mr. Elite, first race, says Ginger Asian. Good stuff. At least somebody knows what they're talking about in the comment section. But there we go then as we head through. I don't know what I'm talking about, to be fair, in the comments box. But there we go then up to the line for Reflection. It's P2 with a 28.1 then for the Aston Martin. Then 1/10 away, or less than 1/10 away, to be fair, from that pole position spot as well. Then Reflection looking very strong here tonight. Then Real Ashton has done 29.5, puts himself P6. Then Head of Marsky and Liam for the time being. Then the first times are being set. Then Rosa Sky has had an issue. Rosa Sky is out of qualifying. Where is he? There he is. There's a Strick and kicks out, but then he's out of qualifying. No time on the board then for the championship leader. He is struggling here then in this qualifying session. Well, he's out of this qualifying session, I should say then. And unfortunately for Rosa Sky, then a big smash then at the final chicane then has been very costly indeed. And that's put the Rosa Sky out of the qualifying session. And unfortunately, we will not be able to set a time. There's no T-car to jump into then, unfortunately, in qualifying anymore than in the F1 sessions now then. Very old, that is, a long time ago then. Goodness me, must be months ago then. I can't remember when the last time they had a T-car, to be fair. But there we go. And here comes Dynamo Dan, then maybe getting a slight slipstream then off of the other McLaren then of San, then who's coming back into the pit there, I think. Then around the final corner goes Dynamo Dan. Then that McLaren needs to get out of the way. Then if he's not on a flying lap, then heading up to the line then, and San is almost got in the way then of the Williams as we go through up to the line for Dynamo Dan. It's P4, 29.2, puts himself just ahead of his teammate Stephen Anthony as well. Fantastic. I'll check tomorrow, Equaz, then, as may as well give up now with them times, says Mushrooms. Well then, Sean, how many races am I on, says Equaz as well then, and good stuff indeed. Well, if you've got yourself out of the garage, then maybe we'll be able to see you compete with those times there, Mushroom, as well. Then I'll have to just give you a bit of an incentive there as well, but never mind. Good stuff. Right then, heading through into Sector 3 momentarily then for Jake the Slayer, then looking to get his first time on the board then into that chicane. Going a bit wide then. Oh dear, that's over the curbs then as well. The goodness me, that is not where we want to go then in terms of getting the most race pace out of that lap. But nonetheless, he kept it valid somehow and still going. See you in Japan, says Equaz then. Tomorrow night then, of course, Equaz is competing in the 100% league as well then. No hards allowed then in the 100% tomorrow night as well then. So that'll be interesting. Jamie's done a 28.9 then on the medium compound tyres. Then he's into P5. Here comes Jake the Slayer. Then up to the line. It's 31.1, but of course had a bit of a mishap on that lap as well then. So he can go again then later on in the session. 11 minutes left of qualifying here. Then unfortunately, one man out of qualifying already is Rosa Sky. Then who had that big crash heading through into Sector 3. And that has put the championship leader there out of qualifying. Then he's going to have to do a lot in the race to get himself back in the order. Then we'll find out then. Evening, Alex, and hello all racers, and good luck. Bronze from Kamara Racer. Then thank you very much for the €5 donation as well. Then that's brilliant stuff indeed. And of course, unlike Sean, it goes towards the league and helping out with the trophies and that sort of thing as well. Then and everything else in the background rather than into Sean's lunchbox. So don't worry about that. So thank you very much, Kamara Racer. That's very, very generous of you and very much appreciated as well. Then had small wing damage in first sector. Then says Ethan, which is Rosa, of course, and didn't want to turn in apologies. It didn't want to turn in apologies. Then he says Rosa as well. Then so unfortunately that is the reason why that Kick Sauer is out of qualifying, which is a big shame indeed. Rocket Lee is looking to rocket him into pole position then and try and challenge in Srivatsa then for that pole position as well as we go through into Sector 3. Then Rocket has been rumoured to be top of the time and sheet then in terms of the practice qualifyings and that sort of thing as well. Then we'll see what he can do then in the first session of first lap of qualifying for the Aston Martin. Then let's see what it's going to be then for Rocket, then rocketing up to that final corner, then round that final corner we go then for the Aston Martin driver. Then let's see what it's going to be then on the timing sheets as we head to that checkered line then. And here he comes then. What's it going to be then for Rocket Lee? Then it is going to be pole position with a 27.4, and that is fantastic stuff indeed then from Rocket Lee. That is almost 6/10 ahead then of Srivatsa then, who's going to have to go back on track then. He is back out on track then to try and challenge that as well then. But Rocket Lee is showing some rocket pace here tonight then in Saudi Arabia then in his first outing in qualifying as well. Then I think he's beaten my qualifying time, which is fantastic stuff indeed. Just shows how amazing I am in this game. But nonetheless, we'll crack on then. Styles has got to over to P4. I missed that then. 28.7 for him then into the into row 2 then for the Racing Bull driver. Then good stuff indeed. Bannett back out on circuit as well, heading into sector 2 momentarily as well. Then where is Jake the Slayer? Jake the Slayer is following through then into sector 2 as well. Where is we've got no, that's Winnie then starting off a lap. Then Winnie not set a time on the board just yet. Then Serious Mushroom still stuck in the pit lane, and Mr. Elite then is on a lap as well. Then heading through into sector 2. We've just had, I think, Reflection start off a lap as well. Then in the other Aston Martin, then it's a bit quiet then in sector 3 for the time being. And where is that Williams? And that is Dynamo Dan then coming through then on his out lap, and we've got a Mercedes coming through as well. Then where is that Mercedes? That's Marvsky coming through as well, I think, isn't it? No, it might be Goddard's. Goddard's is also on that lap as well. And so goodness me, I've got everything wrong there. Ballett is on a lap. Then let's see what Ballett is up to. Then heading through into the final few corners, final few straights, I should say. Then as we head down towards that one last corner of turn 27, then nailing the entry, then making sure you don't go into the wall like Max Verstappen on the exit then, and up to the line then for Ballett. Then let's see what it's going to be. Then can he improve on P10 as it stands? Up to the line then for Ballett. He's improved by 4.5 tenths, putting himself P7 ahead of both the Williams pair as we go through into the halfway point of qualifying as well. Now Dynamo Dan then is into sector 1, still heading through turn 4 and 5 now, and they're looking good indeed. Then where is the rest of the field? Then Reflections heading through then into sector 3. He's gone purple, then 3.5 tenths up on his previous time. Oh dear, was that what happened there? It seemed like he froze for a bit there on my screen. I'm not quite sure if that was a glitch or if that was just an invalidation. Then we got Ballett off the circuit, trying to get himself out of the way, I think, then, of cars coming through. Where is that Ferrari of Winnie? Winnie's first time on the board is going to be a P. It's going to be a 28.8. Then puts himself P6, then third row of the grid, then on his first outing in qualifying, then for the Ferrari driver. Then good stuff indeed, and beating his teammate quite comfortably indeed. Then Smithy Almighty, pull your finger out. That's all I have to say about that then. Srivatsa then is I think finished a lap. Then he's done 27.8 then. Not enough to rival Rocket Lee then, who is flying out there at this point in the race, or qualifying I should say. 6.5 minutes left to go. But yes, Rocket Lee then holding on to that pole position then, so Srivatsa then couldn't rival him then in the second lap there for the Haas driver. Then we'll have to come back to that one and see how the quali heating up then goes on in the final rounds of qualifying as well. Then here comes Dynamo down then up into P4 with 28.4 then for the Williams driver. Then good stuff indeed, looking very strong as well. Then Equaz has done a nice donation as well. Then ALR then from Equaz then £4.99 as well. Then fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Equaz, and I will come and see you then with a trophy then hopefully in the near future. But I can't guarantee anything now. I've probably jinxed it as well, to be fair. Styles then back out of that, then heading into sector 2. He's 2.5 tenths up on his previous time. That's going to be putting him back in contention with Dynamo Dan then, and potentially if he can find more time with Reflection as well then. Reflection coming back out of the pit lane now. Sand on an outlet, then getting out of the way, then Winnie coming back through. Then here comes Jamie then, but Jamie's harvesting a lot of battery then into sector 3. Real Ashton's on circuit as well, then as is Marvsky coming through the first couple of corners. Then Marvsky looking to improve on his time. Then DeCanco coming through, then he's harvesting a lot of energy as well here. Goddard's then is not harvesting energy, and then he is pushing into sector 2. Then round the hairpin we go then for the Mercedes, and again, not using much battery there, unfortunately. Serious Mushroom's out on circuit then, everybody. This is going to be a fan favourite then on the track then. Let's see what the Mushroom can do then, heading into sector 2. Then I don't want to jinx him, but I probably have now already then, so very sorry, Mushroom. And you can blame it all on me then if this quali lap does not go to plan, but we'll find out then as well then. Good evening from Legends as well then. Maran said, hello, Bronze, good luck as well then. How dare you, Mushroom? I won't share my setup, says Ginger Age, then goodness me. I'm not sure you want Ginger Age's setup, then it's probably for Monza it's probably 50-50 wings, then for Monaco it's probably 0-0 wings, but there we go. Just genius setups then indeed from the Ginger Age. Then we'll have to wait and see then what he's going to be doing tomorrow night then in Japan. Interesting to race with kids' songs on in the background, says Stephen Anthony. Then not quite sure who's the culprit on that one, but yeah, there we go then. Mushroom then into Sector 3, powering along then in that Alpine machine. DRS now activated then as we go towards that final corner. Let's see what Mushroom can do then on his first outing in qualifying as well then. And yeah, definitely Duke as well. So good luck bronze in the comment section as well. Then goodness me, there's someone with a very loud engine going to go past my window. Here comes Mushroom then up to the line then. What's it going to be for the Alpine machine? And it's going to be a 29.4, puts himself P13 for the first outing of qualifying then for Mushroom. Then good stuff indeed. Still time I think to go again then. 4 minutes left of qualifying here in Saudi Arabia. Real Ashton's up into P11 then. Oh dear, I think he just sort of dipped into the ground then, was it? Or was it just me looking, I don't know what I'm doing. Good stuff. Jamie in the pits, and unfortunately calling it a day then on that previous lap then. P8 currently for Jamie, then San is the lead McLaren, but he's having a bit of an issue then in Sector 2. And coming back to the pits as well, I think their reflection heading through into Sector 2 momentarily as well. Now coming through the kinks then of Sector 1 and looking to improve then on his current time of a 28.103. Then what's he doing in Sector 1 then? He is not improving. Then he's 29 thousandths of a second down on his previous time, but there's still time to gain then in the next two sectors of yellow flags. I think for somebody getting out of the way there as a reflection and going very wide then out of the exit of that hairpin, then heading into Sector 2, then into the depths of Sector 2. Now one more chicane. And let's see what he can do then out of here, then powering along there very nicely indeed. Then that look very stable stuff indeed then from the Aston Martin. Then let's see what he can do in Sector 2. There's a bit of an Aston, not an Aston, a Racing Bull tow then maybe coming from the, I think that's Hungry Styles potentially then getting out of the way then into Sector 3. Then 2.5 tenths up then for reflection. Then that's going to look promising stuff indeed. And can he rival Srivatsa then for that front row? Then can he get an all Aston Martin front row here in Saudi Arabia? The real Aston's retired in the pit lane. He's P11, which is a fantastic, I think, qualifying best then for the Red Bull driver. Then let's see what reflection can do then. Can he go round the final corner? Then can he clinch the front row? Although he seems to have no, he's abandoned it. Never mind. Ignore me. I love it when drivers do that. It really gives me a great feeling indeed then as we go through reflections of abandon his time. Rocket Lee's also coming back in the pits. I think that's his qualifying done and dusted. So both Aston Martins are happy. Well, not happy, I don't think, for reflections case, but I think you could have found some more time there in the final sector potentially there. But unfortunately, both Aston Martins, I think, are out of qualifying now, and that is their session done and dusted. Hungry Styles, is not done and dusted just yet. Then heading through the first sector, Goddard has retired then in P18. Then he's done a 30.4 for Goddard, and he's down the back of the order at the moment then, but of course there is still drivers who've yet to set a time, that is in the form of Jake the Slayer, or competitive time I should say, because he's won almost 7 tenths of a second off at the moment. But of course he had that big off into Sector 3 over the oh dear, he's all over the place. And Rosa Sky is out of qualifying, that's what I'm trying to get to, but there we go then. Heading into Sector 2 for Hungry Styles then, looking to improve then on his current 28.7, and can he rival Dynamo down then for that second row of the grid? Then can he go further then for the front row of the grid then as we go through into Sector 3 now? Then Hungry Styles then is almost 2 tenths of a second up. That would put him into the range, and with Dynamo down then let's see what it's going to be then for Styles then heading through the final sector. Then there's less kinks, there's less chicanes into this final sector there, but there's one massive braking zone, and can he get it right then into that final corner as well? Then Hungry Styles then slowing the car down very nicely indeed, and making sure he doesn't do a Max Verstappen on the exit. Then maybe a distant tow from that Alpine there as we head up to the line then for Styles then on the final attempt in qualifying. Then it's going to be P5 still, almost 3 tenths improvement, then stays in P5 with a 28.442. Very good formation indeed then, Brexit football, but yes, that's that. Good stuff. Right then, enough of that. We'll go through the rest of the order then. Where is that? We've got an Alpine that have Mr. Elite on second, then Mysterious Mushroom still in the pit lane. Stephen Anthony has improved to a 29.1, then puts himself P11 in the Williams. I think that might be his qualifying done and dusted as well then for Stephen Anthony for the Williams driver. Then where is the rest of the field? Then Srivatsa then is coming through into Sector 2. We're going to find a McLaren. Then McLaren's both on an outlap. Then we've got yellow flags for a kick Sauber. Then that is Ballot. Then on a slow outlap. Then let's see what Smithy's up to. It's not Smithy, it's Willie. Willie's going through for a flying lap. Then Smithy is on a flying lap though. And let's see what Smithy can do then into the final couple of corners. Then can he improve on that P9 position with a 29.0 for the moment? Let's see what it's going to be then as he crosses the line then to end off his qualifying session. Let's see what the Ferrari's up to then as we go. Oh, is he coming into the pits? Yes, he's coming. Never mind. He's abandon that time quickly. Good stuff. Fantastic. Mushroom going to have the wrath of Flavio with that P13 then, says Ginger Agent. Too much fuel, says Mushroom, then it won't let me back out. It won't let me back out. Goodness me. Well, that's interesting. Are you facing the front of the carriage, says Ginger Agent. A bit of helpful, handy tips then from Ginger Agent. Then good stuff indeed. Mr. Elite then improves that, stays P14 then for the time being, right behind his teammate there as well. Then we've got a Red Bull coming through of Decanco. Let's see if Decanco can improve. And then on 29.8, then he can improve to a 28.8. And a second improvement then for Decanco, puts himself into the top 8. Brilliant stuff indeed. Jamie's done and dusted, unfortunately. P9 for Jamie. Then Marsky improves to P10 in the Mercedes. Then Smith Almighty down to P11 now. Ballot then is coming through as well. Then we've got a Williams of, I think it's a Williams of Dynamo Dan. Then where is Dynamo Dan? Then up to the line then for the current P4 driver. Then let's see if he can improve then that position as we go over the line then for Dynamo Dan. He stays P4 for the time being. Then Styles back in the pit lane as well. Then San then looking to finish off a lap then for the McLaren. Can he improve on P6? Then up to the line, it's P6 still then for San as we go through across the line for the last few drivers as well. Then I'm not sure who that is. Jake the Slayer stays P19. Unfortunately didn't improve on that previous lap time, the first lap time of the session then for Jake the Slayer. Ballot then up to the line then from P12. Then where's he going to go? Then he stays P12 as well then. So it's a bit of a damp squib then in the final session then, final laps then of qualifying. Then Winnie back in the pits, then P7 for Winnie as we go into the box now then to round off qualifying here in Saudi Arabia. Then fantastic stuff indeed. Scraps, says Equaz then, as I have no idea what happened, says Mushroom. So so we haven't confirmed whether he was facing the right way in the garage yet, Sean, but nonetheless, I'm sure there'll be an investigation down into that one as we go through there. But there we are then, that is qualifying done and dusted, and both Aston Martins retired early then, and we've got Rocket Lee on pole position then by 10th and a half, or 10th and a bit I should say. Reflection in P3 then with Srivatsa then in the Haas, then reserving tonight then in place of Vintage and splitting the two green machines. My goodness me, that was just qualifying. We've got the race to come as well then. As we go through, then there's the classification. Then Rocket Lee then in P1 with the Haas of Srivatsa then in P2. Reflection P3 with Dynamo Dan P4. Hungry Star was in P5. Then San in P6. Winnie P7. Decanco P8. Then Jamie then didn't get a time on the softs in, and so he stays P9 on the medium compound tyres then for the McLaren. Then Marsky P10. Smithy 11th. Ballant P12. Stephen Anthony P13. Real Ashton P14. Liam in P15. Mushroom P16. Mr. Elite P17. Goddard's P18. Jake the Slayer P19. And unfortunately for Rosa Sky, a big crash then on his first flying lap then of the qualifying session, and put him out of the session as well then. So that is that then for qualifying then. We'll be back in just a jiffy after a short word from our lovely sponsors. Good stuff indeed. We're back just in time for the formation lap as well as we go away then for the first outing around this circuit then to start off the Grand Prix then. A combination of strategies then, of course, but no soft compound tyres in sight then of the 20 drivers as well then. Fantastic stuff indeed. But there we go then. No idea what happened then as Decanco started qualifying. Great performance, and of course Decanco starting P8 then as well. Fantastic stuff indeed for Red Bull. Looking very strong indeed as well around here. Kamara Racer said, "You get old, Mushy." Yes, Kamara, but I think Mushroom has said, "Get?" Question mark. I am. So I think there you go. But no, it's good to see some oldies racing along. Then of course me and Sean are turning, or Sean's definitely turning into an oldie already, but I'm just catching up with him. So there we go then, as Rosa for last to first, says Meran as well then in the comment section as well then. So that's going to be very interesting for the championship leader. Then can he get himself from P20 to the top spot? Then we will find out then as we go through this Grand Prix. 25 laps of action to unfold in front of our very eyes here in Saudi Arabia then as well then. So we've got hard compound tyres then for Reflection, and the highest hard runner then in the Aston Martin. Then we've got Marsky. Then Jamie's had an issue somewhere. Where's Jamie gone? Not quite sure what's happened there, but Jamie's disappeared. Marsky then on the hard compound tyres then in P10 as well then. Stephen Anti also on the hards in P13, as is Liam in P15. Then we've got Goddards and Jake the Slayer for the hard compound tyres in the back of the order then for the time being then. But of course they will be lasting a lot longer than in the first stint then if they give all together then. So that's going to be good stuff indeed. And we can see what they can do then into the later part of this race as well then. Switching on to a faster tyre then for the second stint. Yeah, then we've got the rest of the drivers. I think we've got, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 then. So we've got 14 drivers then opting for the medium compound tyre then to start this race. The others opting for the hard compound then. Brutality, says Ginger H then. Goodness me, I'm very sorry. Not. But there we are then. So good stuff. Right, we can crack on as Jamie's car is already parked on the grid. Rocket Lee, gets himself parked up on the grid then in P1 then with his teammate right behind. And we will wait for Rosa then to form up the grid then from the rear and get ourselves started for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. My apologies, Ginger Age, for the brutality. I take it back. Here we go. Right, getting ourselves all sorted then. Everyone's had their cups of tea then. We've got the fuel strategies ready. We've got the ERS. We've got everything ready then. The tyres are ready. The strategies are all sorted. And we can get ourselves racing, hopefully. Yes, we can. Hopefully. Still waiting. Someday, please. Yes, good stuff. Right then, the 5 red lights are coming on here in Saudi Arabia then for round 4 of the Bronze Division 10, or Season 10 I should say then. Away we go then for the start then. It's a good start I think as we go through then into turn 1 then. A good start for Rocket League then, he holds on then. Reflection's going to get his nose in then with the Haas then. Dynamo Dan's got through then. Stars as well then following in close pursuit. The McLaren's then all over them, all over the Ferrari of Winnie, who's got himself through, and there seems to be a bit of debris then scattering off then in the distance. I'm not quite sure if there's any movers or shakers there as well then. DeCanker's lost a couple of places unfortunately off the start there. As we go through sector 1, there's all sorts of yellow flag. There's a problem then for someone in the background there as well. Serious Mushrooms drop down the order then. Jake the Slayer still going then on the hard compound tyres. Not sure if there was something that went awry then into the first sector, or if it was just somebody having a bit of an off then that got themselves back on quickly enough then to escape the withering eye. As oh my goodness me, then the McLaren's working together to try and box in Winnie then as well. Then as we go through the hairpin, Winnie's having none of it though. He's got himself back out of that box from Jamie then as well. Back underway then into sector 2 we go then, flying through the great pace indeed then for all 20 drivers then. And my goodness me, then the McLarens and the Ferraris are in a fight of their own at this point. They're only on lap 1, but they are really battling then, these two, or these 4, as we go through then into sector 3 then out in front. Travatsa then and Rocket Lee have stormed out then. Reflection on the hard compound tyres is not keeping within that 1 second window for the time being then. Can he get himself back in that window? We have to wait and see then. Once again back to the McLaren Ferrari battle then as we go through into the final quarter then. Is there going to be a late lunge from Jamie then? Not quite, as we stay status quo then on to lap 2. And wow, it was an epic start then. Marsky's lost 3 positions, and unfortunately for Marsky, then he's got himself back on the way. Rocket Lee set the fastest lap of the race. Is there damage there for Marsky? It doesn't look like it. No, it's all right then. I think he's got that pressure now from Stephen Anthony, sorry, from Mr. Elite, I should say, then heading in towards turn 1, and Mr. Elite's got himself through and up into P13, back up into P13, I should say. No, he's not. He started P17 for some reason. I'm not quite sure if that's correct, but nonetheless. Yes, there we are then. Right then, out in front then, the gap still stabilised then as well between Rocket Lee and Travatsa. Then Reflection is trying to get himself back in that 1 second window there, but he can't get himself into that 1 second window just about then. Into sector 2 we go then, and actually he's gaining quite quickly there as well then, but we'll come back to that one just about outside of DRS then, which is now activated of course. Then DRS is enabled then as we go back through that. Once again the Ferraris and the McLarens having a massive fight, a ding-dong battle. Then they've been caught up by Balint as well here, and DeCanco, Stephen Anthony, Mr. Elite Marvsky, Liam and Real Ashton and Rosa Sky and Glodars and Mushroom and everybody else, to be fair, down the back of the order is all stuck behind him then. So everyone down from almost P6 now, as Winnie's trying to get himself back within that DRS window. But everyone down from P6 then almost is in a bit of a scrap then for the positions then. No changes in the top of the order then in the opening laps there, or opening a lap and a half I should say so far. I don't want to jinx it, but I've now done so. But there we go as we head through into the final corner then to end off lap 2. Wow, what a frantic start, a frenetic start. There's all sorts of F's there, but I'm not going to say the bad one. As down the inside goes Jamie then, but a switch back then from Winnie then. Oh, there's contact there into the wall, and now Smithy's been caught up in it as well then, and so is the, oh dear, that's just terrible stuff indeed then. And unfortunately, is that a safety car? It's not a safety car even, I'm not quite sure why. But there's all sorts of action. Into the pits comes Smithy Almighty then, and DeCanco's been disqualified for going the wrong way. And what? He's looking the right way now. I'm not quite sure. As Srivatsa has taken the lead in all of that as well, then I completely missed it. But as DeCanco's been disqualified, then Jamie, Winnie and Smithy are all in the pits, as is Stephen Anthony. I think has he got a wing change? Yes, he has then, unfortunately for Stephen Anthony as well. And my goodness me, then that fantastic start then was paid then by Winnie then, who just dived down the inside and caused carnage then at the final corner. Unfortunately then for the Ferrari driver then, it looked like they as well going down the inside, but not leaving the space, or somebody didn't leave the space because they both ended up in the wall, didn't they? But I'm not quite sure who did what, to be fair. Out of the pits then comes Stephen Anthony, Smithy, Jamie and Winnie then down the back of the order now as well then after all of that calamity. My goodness me, holy guacamole, says Equaz then. I'm voting for Kiki for admin of the season now, says Ginger Rage as well then. That's fair enough, to be fair. But nobody ever votes for me, so it's alright. There we go then. Rocket Lee then, and Rocket Lee and Sriracha then, of course, medium compound tyres for these two. And they're being closed in now by reflection, so potentially the hard compound tyres now getting up to temperature, then phasing back into this race as we stand now. Of course, Dynamo down also on the hards, mediums as well, I should say. Marvke on the hard compound tyres, as is Liam D. Of course, all the frac car behind has helped these guys then get themselves through. And now into the bigger points paying position, of course, points down to 15th in bronze. So it's not all doom and gloom then for those who've just had their mishaps, I should say. But hopefully they can get themselves back underway in this race, and we will see what they can do then later on in this Grand Prix. Then here comes the Mercedes and Marvsky then on the attack then, getting himself back up into P8. Then Mr. Elite is in the pit lane. Mr. Elite is in the pit lane because he got damage as well then after that final turn then on the previous lap. Then let's see what he's going to be doing into the box then for Mr. Elite. Then it is a wing change. Not sure who's involved in all of that mess, but he has had to come into the pits then to sort that out as well. Then Liam's got a 3-second penalty than the first of the penalties of the evening, I should say then. But of course there can be quite a few penalties that rack up around here. Goodness me, over the curbs then for Liam. Then he's struggling to try and hold on to Marvsky then as we go through, and had to get himself back on the track. Then goodness me, oh my god, that's a very, very odd rejoin then indeed from Liam then, and that's caused carnage there as well then almost then with Serious Mushroom and Liam then, and Real Ashton trying to get themselves all through. Then Liam then slowed on the track then onto the racing line. Then he can't do that then because that almost caused problems then for Serious Mushroom and for Real Ashton as well. And my goodness me, that was well, problematic indeed, let's just say the least then. But back underway we go then, thank God. There was no issues on that one as well then, but that could have been huge indeed. As we go through then into Sector 3 now, the Reflection has joined the battle then for the lead of the Grand Prix, heading into the final corner then on lap 5. Winnie's got a 3-second penalty as well then, goodness me. Winnie then having a difficult time then after starting so well in qualifying P7 and having a big battle then with the McLarens then in the first couple of laps. Then unfortunately it went all the way wrong in the as Rocket Lee's taking back the lead then heading on to lap 5. It went all the way wrong then with that dive down the inside then into the final corner then on Jamie as well. Then Jamie then of course was tangled up in that, then both of them hit the wall, and I think Smithy Almighty, Mr. Elite and Stephen Anthony then all got involved into the back of the accident, back of the scene of the accident I should say then, goodness me, as Real Ashton up into P10 then has got himself back past Mushroom with some DRS as well, then heading into lap 5 now as well here. I don't think the safety car was brought to Saudi, says Ginger Ray, goodness me. Good reaction to avoid them then, says Equaz then, and it should be a safety car, says Meran as well then, but well, I don't think it was. Well, it definitely wasn't because I'm not seeing it, but I don't think it was then because to be fair, all drivers then that were involved did get themselves moving again. It was just a question of sorting out the mess, really, wasn't it? But there we go then. Who said Rozasky from P20 to P1 then in the early stages then? He's up into P9 now, which is fantastic on the medium compound tyres. Then chasing down Marsky then is his next target. Oh dear, that's drifty, says Nolly, but I don't know why I'm talking about myself in the third person there, but it was a bit drifty. But there we go then, heading into sector 3 then. He is still within the DRS then of Marsky after that back end, tried to step out on him then, and that was what we saw then in qualifying, I think, there as well. Then he had a bit of damage, he said, in qualifying, which didn't help the turn in then into that final chicane then, but he's got himself through then unscathed. Then a very nice camera angle here then of the night skies of Saudi Arabia then as well. Brilliant stuff. So Reflections actually in a very good spot here. He's now caught up then to the top 2 then, who of course leading the way then on the medium compound tyres, and did look to try and break up that gap then in the first couple of laps then. Now the hard compound tyres are phased in. He is looking in a pretty good spot now as well, because of course the hard compound tyres we expect to go a bit longer than the medium compound as well. Well, that's the plan anyway, but who knows. As we go through then into sector 1 then on lap 6 then, of course it's just a question of making sure you keep out of the dirty air then. Srivatsa then has dropped out, or did just momentarily drop out of the DRS then of Rocket Lee, who seems to be storming off into the distance then, heading into the hairpin now on lap 6 then. Donovan 2.6 seconds behind, but he's got Hungry Stars for keeping him company, as is San as well then. So there's still a battle then right behind then for that potentially to get themselves into the final podium place then, if anything goes awry for the top 3 I should say. Ballot then in P7 in a bit of no man's land at the moment, with Marsky then 4 seconds behind, but Rozasky now chasing him down as well then for that P8 position. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to unfold as well then. Mushroom then is on the battle then with Real Ashton, and he's got Liam who picked up that penalty as well then. Goddard's then and Jake the Slayer then for the fight then as well then for the P14 all the way up to P10 there. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds as well then. Mushroom might be looking to go for a move quickly in the DRS then of that Red Bull heading into sector 3. The problem with the dirty air around there is that you're going at such a high speed that you really need to slam on the brakes then, to be fair, going into that chicane then to make sure you get round the corner. Out in front then, out in front we're going to have a move for the lead, then down the inside from the Haas then. It's close indeed, but Rocket Lee has the inside for turn 2 and holds the position then for the time being as well. Then now Reflection is right on the back of both of them then, heading through into lap 7 of 25. Then Rozasky has passed Marsky in the back when we've got Real Ashton and Mushroom then, and we've now got Liam then going through as well then into first turn. There's contact into the back then from Liam, and that's what he's just pushing the Red Bull through the corner there. It's a no contact sport, unfortunately then for Liam, but I'm not sure he's figured that out just yet. But nonetheless, he's got himself up into P11 and on a charge now into the top 10 potentially as well then for the Haas. Then of course on the hard compound tyres as well then, so they might be looking a bit better than those mediums for Real Ashton at this point of the race as well. We'll have to wait and see then what Liam can do then in the next few laps as well. Then Reject the Stairs, picked up a penalty and going through into sector 2 as well then for the Racing Bull driver. Right there. There we go then. So out in front, it's still status quo then. 3 seconds, the gap back to Dynamo Dan. Then he's now starting to drop Styles slightly then, but Styles still within that DRS window then, and San now trying to get the pressure on that Racing Bull then into sector 3 as we head into the last part of the lap then of lap 7 onto lap 8 momentarily then. Here we go then, Srivatsa then trying to go for a move for the race lead once again then. Can he make that move then in towards turn 1 this time, and can he make it stick this time as well is the question. But maybe Reflections might be maybe thinking about making a move on both of them as well then as we go through then onto lap 8 now. The hard compound tyre is definitely going to be the better tyre from this point on now as well in this race. Dynamo Dan holding off Styles then, and San as well then is being held off by Styles likewise. Real Ashton and Real Ashton and Liam have switched places then into the final corner there. That's where we saw the contact between Winnie and Jamie, and Real Ashton as Liam has gone through. He's skated off then as Liam as well then. Fantastic, or has he? I'm not quite sure. As we go through in towards turn 1, and they're all over the place here into the braking zone then, and wow, we got ourselves through then. Good stuff indeed. And there we are then, got us in up into P12 then on the hard compound tyres, and I think this is where we've definitely seen the hard compound tyre be the better tyre then, and from this point onwards in this race then. Of course the medium runners will try and go as long as they can in this stint then to as Jamie's pit and quit then, unfortunately he's out of the Grand Prix, and that's him out of this race as well then for for Jamie I should say. But yeah, unfortunately there as well then, because he is well, I think there's going going to be some sort of investigation there as well, but not so much now as well then with Jamie pitting and quitting in this race. Then here comes Reflection. He's back on the charge then and back on the case then of Srivatsa, and then heading into sector 3 then on lap 8. Then that yellow flag is for the McLaren then in the pit lane. It will not be taken away. It will be taken away hopefully at some point. Fingers crossed it will be, because it's don't want it sitting on the track, do we? But hopefully it'll get sorted out then in just a jiffy then. Dynamo Dan now 4 seconds behind, then Styles is still closing in then as well, then as is Sam. 5 seconds back is Ballot then, who's still in a bit of no man's land. Rosa has got himself past Marsky then, but he's now in a bit of no man's land himself then, because Marsky's coming back at him there as well then, and these two in a bit of a battle of their own as Marsky's gone the attack then into the final corner. Not quite then for the Mercedes driver. Wow. Lap 9 then is underway, and now I think Marsky will be looking to try and make a move then down towards turn 1 then here, as Decanco is retired from the session. Oh no, what? Oh dear, what's going on? Was Decanco out of the race already? I'm just confused. Hang on. Then you look at it on the screen. Nope, he's already out there. When did Decanco go out of this race? I'm not quite sure. What's happening? I'm not sorry. I don't know what's going on then, to be fair. Somebody can tell me what's going on in the comment section, because I have no idea what's happening. Decanco seems to be just out of the race, and there we are. So we've got all sorts of things going on then. Mushroom and Jake the Slayer and Real Ashton are all having a fight as well. Then Goddard is involved. Jamie's left the session then. I think Jamie was due. Oh no, God, there's more contact then between Real Ashton, and he couldn't get his eyes in his wing mirrors there quick enough then. And Goddard then has gone into the wall. Has he got damage though on that Mercedes then? That's going to be problematic indeed if he does. It doesn't look too bad then. It looks all right now, I should say then, as Serious Mushroom is back past Jake the Slayer as well here with some DRS. Goddard now is past Real Ashton, and Real Ashton in a bit of a war there with the Mercedes then, I think has let him go through then as well then, but my goodness me then, what happened there? Goddard seems to have come through unscathed thankfully, but not sure what was happening then between the Red Bull then and the Mercedes there as well. Then Rosa is caught up, Rosa and Marsky still in a battle here actually for that P8 position. Then Rosa now with the DRS then down towards 10-1 and got himself back past the Mercedes, but these two carrying on their fight. Out in front then 1 second, then Srivatsa then is lost out then to Rocket Lee. Then Rocket Lee is rocketing off now at this point of the race then, and Reflections going to get himself past the house as quickly as possible as well now on those hard compound tyres, heading into sector 2 now. And there we are then. Hungry Stars, so we've got pit stop action then. We've got Jake the Slayer in the pits then for the medium compound tyres, so that's going to be an odd call then indeed. Jake the Slayer onto the mediums, then onto the hards for Real Ashton as well, calling it a day then on those medium compound tyres at the end of lap 9. Jake the Slayer has been held in the pits quite a lot there. I'm not quite sure if there was some sort of issue then, or wing change as well then. Goodness me, then there's all sorts of anarchy then as we go through then into lap 10 then. Not even at the halfway point of the race just yet then. It's been a fantastic start to this race. I don't want to jinx it, but I probably have done now. But there we go then. Rocket Lee is flying out there. He's 1.5 seconds away now. Reflection needs to get himself past Srivatsa as quickly as possible to make use of those hard compound tyres then as quickly as possible as well. Then heading into that final corner, then Reflection with the DRS then is going to be all over the back of that Haas then into that final corner, but not quite making the move then as we finalise the lap. Oh my goodness me, and this is going to get tight indeed then. Srivatsa then wants to go in the pit lane. He has to duck underneath then, which is what Favre did not do yesterday. But there we go then, the two former race leaders then into the pit lane from the medium compound tyres. We've got Dunmadan carrying on then. Hungry Styles also in the pit lane as well then for the Racing Bull outfit. Then San has also carried on then in the McLaren. So we'll see whether he's got some hard compound tyres then for Rocket Lee and Srivatsa. Then he's out ahead then of the Haas as we go through then on the exit. Then there's a few drivers coming through. Then there's Marvsky there as well. Then will Rocket Lee get out ahead of Marvsky is the question. Then where is Srivatsa then in all of this as well? Then coming through that pit exit. Then Marvsky is in between them both as they go through then on the exit. Interesting stuff indeed. Rosa Sky is pitted for medium compound tyres again then. So Rosa then going medium in this race. I'm not sure that is the optimum strategy then to get yourself into P1 then at the end of it. But Miranov then is keeping faith then as well. Then Goddard's picked up a penalty unfortunately for Goddard's. Then he's not pitted just yet. There's contact with the wall then for Goddard's then coming through, and he's gone into the wall and trying to get himself back underway. Then that yellow flag then is for the Mercedes that's stricken the car. Then that front wing then dropping off the front of the Mercedes as well there. so he's going to have to come into the pits regardless and to sort out that front wing. And there's a Williams of Stephen Anthony right behind as well. Then goodness me, Goddard then needs to get that front wing sorted. Then can he get himself into the box then to a fresh set of medium compound tyres and a fresh new wing as well then, and back underway then in this Grand Prix. Then Travatsa then is right out behind Marsky. Then he's lost 3 seconds though to Rocket Lee, who is absolutely storming off then in the distance. Then he's caught up to Ballant already then with some DRS then for the Rocket. Let's see what he can do then, get himself past then into the final turn potentially. Then lap 12 has commenced. Then Reflection carries on then of course on the hard compound tyres. We've got Rocket League, we've got Marsky then carrying on as well. Then he has been passed by Srivatsa now into the final corner. Then into the pits comes Dynamo Dan and San. Yellow flags out there. It's for Goddard trying to get himself back through the circuit then as well. Unfortunately for Goddard, that wing damage is going to be costly indeed. Rocket Lee takes back P2. Back up into P3 then, but that massive gap there, maybe being stuck behind Marsky then for one lap then has been very costly indeed for Srivatsa as well. Then Marsky then P4, Hungry Stars up into P5 of course, has now pitted for the hard compound tyres. Dynamo Dan coming out in P6 then, as well as San in P7. Then Smith the Almighty and Mr. Elite then are going to be very close indeed with Ballant then on the exit then into turn 2. Then they've got themselves ahead then of Ballant into turn 2 as well. Then Rosa Sky 1 second behind his teammate now on the medium compound tyres. Liam into the pits then. Goddard has come into the pits as well then and quit, so that he is also out then. Yes, we saw DeCanco get disqualified, didn't we, for facing the wrong way, and that's a big smash then. Liam's out of the race then as well then on the exit of turn 4. Then that's got to be a safety car surely. That's another driver then out of this race then at the exit of the entry to turn 4 I should say. Nothing doing just yet then unfortunately from race control. I don't think race control have noticed it. So, unfortunately, and then a big smash there, which is a big shame indeed then, because Liam was looking good indeed on those hard compound tyres. Then could have been on for a good result potentially then into the points paying positions there. Unfortunately, no Hasses are going to score tonight then, because of course Srivatsa then as a reserve then does not score then for the constructors team then, which is a big shame indeed then. Unlucky to Liam then, burnt on a yacht says Ekraz in. Horrible strategy for Rosa then as well then, as says Meran then. Unfortunately there, Rocket Lee sets the fastest lap of the race then. Of course he's on much fresher tyres than his teammate Reflection, and just under 13 seconds behind as well at this stage of the race. Meran said Liam's front wing is made of iron then a bit earlier on then. Unfortunately not having the luck, says DeCanco as well. They're not quite sure what happened to DeCanco there, but he did seem to get disqualified for something or other there in the earlier stages of this race then. Jamie then into the pits then and retired then as well. Then same for Goddard as well then, and unfortunately we just saw Liam then have a big crash then at the entry to turn 4, which can easily catch any driver out, to be fair. It's not nothing to do with Liam then, it's not a skill issue, it's definitely a corner issue, because I've done that myself before. But maybe in my case it was a skill issue, to be fair. But there we are. Stephen Anthony then hard compound tyres onto the Williams and back underway. Then of course he's on used tyres, but he did only use them for a couple of laps then at the beginning of the Grand Prix. Then Dynamo Dan has passed Marsky then for P4. The gap was about 4 seconds before the pit stops. Then unfortunately he's lost 3 seconds now then to Srivatsa then, who's currently sitting in that final podium place as we go through then into sector 2. Jake the Slayer has picked up a 3-second penalty there as well. Then they've got Styles then looking to mount a bit of charge then on Marsky as well. Then as we go through then into sector 3, Marsky's tyres will start to drop off now as well then as we go through then into that final couple of corners, and into that final corner we go. Then will Styles make a move then, but Marsky of course has DRS to protect himself as well as attack then into that final corner too. Reflection has pitted from the race lead onto a set of medium compound tyres then, and away he goes. The former 2 race leaders have gone past him, and as we go out of the pit lane, where will Reflection rejoin then? He's had a clout with the wall almost there on the exit then, so that's a good start to the stint, that is. But he comes back out in P3 as well then. He is going to be about 5 seconds away then from the top 2, but he's on a fresher and faster set of tyres as well then on those medium compounds. Then as we go through then Dynamo down into P4, then Marsky down to P5 is lost out. Then he's lost out more then because he's gone off the circuit then, as Styles and San looking to try and sneak through. Then San's made contact there, and San's trying to get the car back underway. Then he has held the car then without going into a wall, thankfully there, but unfortunately that has cost him a bit of time as well then to Marsky then with that contact as well then as we go through into sector 2. And goodness me, then getting your elbows out is one thing. Then around this circuit then we've seen a few people putting their elbows out, let's just say that then, in this race already then, but nonetheless then everyone else seems to be getting themselves through just about unscathed, and yeah, just unfortunate for Liam then and for Decanco as well there in this race, which is a big shame indeed, because both of them had good starts to the race. And of course Decanco had a fantastic qualifying, then P8 then in qualifying for Decanco as well is nothing to be ashamed about. Then I wish I could get P8 in the qualifyings that I do as well, but I can't. So there we are. Right then, heading through into lap 15. Rocket Lee has a 4-second lead then over Srivatsa. Then Rocket Lee is on great form here so far. I don't want to jinx it because I probably will now, but there we go. And then Reflection. Then the question is then, can Reflection catch? Can Reflection catch? And can Reflection pass is another question as well. But we'll have to find out then as we go through into lap 15. Then 10 laps to go then at the end of this one. Into the pits comes Marvsky. He is calling it a day now on those hard compound tyres, which is I think the maximum you can get out of the stick pretty much from Marvsky. It's going to be on the freshest medium compound tyres then of the field when he comes back out of the box. Then where will he come out then is the question, but he's going to have a lot of catching up to do, but of course he's going to be on the fresh tyres to do so as well then. I think the host turned off the safety car, says Moran then. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have a look then after the race, but there we go then. Out in P13 for Marvsky, then right behind Real Ashton and Serious Mushroom, and Real Ashton's got out the way then. Okay, so that's an odd call then from Real Ashton, but he was on for some big points then is Real Ashton. Maybe keeps himself going, and maybe a bit of an odd place to let Marvsky go through there, because he's cost himself DRS now as well. Then has Real Ashton. Jake the Slayer then is in the P14 position, I should say. Then we've got Stephen Anthony then making up the final points paying position as well. Then Winnie, of course, is well, unfortunately the culprit then of the start of this race. Then would cause the incident between himself and Jamie then, which has caused the problems out there as well. Then for a few other drivers after coming around that final corner and noticing a bit of a blockade was there, I think, wasn't it? But there we are. Championship leader Rosa Sky, then he is starting to struggle. Then he's not been able to hold on to his teammate then of Balin in that DRS. Then Liam unfortunately has left the session. Then unlucky then to Liam as well as we go through. Then sorry, I got the Mercedes mixed up. Then says Ekmaz as well. But there we go then into lap 16. Gap coming down then for Reflection, then under 3 seconds now, then 4 seconds still stabilising then with the top two. So Reflection then on the medium compound tyres needs to push on then, of course, he needs to use those tyres to the maximum as well then, but the problem with that is that they will die out then as we've got more problems then somewhere. Where is it? I'm not quite sure. Marvsky then maybe, no, Marvsky's passed Mushroom there as well then, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there as well. Then Stephen Anthony then has passed Jake the Slayer, I think, there as well. So yes, I'm not sure who's done what there, but of course Marvsky now on the fresh rubber is looking to get himself into the top 10 or cement himself a position in the top 10 as quickly as possible then on those medium compound tyres. And like I said, he's got the freshest tyres of the field, so we'll be in a good spot potentially to do so as well then, as Winnie is also into the pits then for a new set of boots then, medium compound tyres going on. That's a Ferrari as well then, and back underway. Reflection on a charge then, 2 seconds. The gap now, it was over 3 just about at the beginning of last lap then, so that gap is coming down almost at a second per lap then for Reflection, and that is what he wants to see then out there on the fresher medium compound tyres. Then Dynamo Dan then holding on to P4 for the time being. He's lost out, or not lost out, Stars has lost out then. Of course he was battling then along with San in the DRS. Then the Dynamo Dan then in the first stint then unfortunately has changed hands then as we go through the pit stop phases, but there we go then on to lap 17 we go then for the race leader. Then 3.8 seconds the gap then, 2.3 behind Srivatsa then is Reflections. We go through then onto lap 17. Then it's going to be 8 laps to go then in this Grand Prix. The question is, will Reflections medium compound tyres hold on then in this race then, and can he get himself into the top 2 positions? Can he even go for that top position as well? Then we'll find out then in the next few laps or so. Right then into the pits comes Roger Sky. Then he's done only 6 laps or 7 laps potentially then on those medium compound tyres. Smithy also in the pits, as is Mr. Elite as well. Then goodness me, then Marvsky's going to get himself back up into P8. Then brilliant stuff indeed. And Mushroom then up into P9 as well here then into the for the Alpine machine. Then looking good indeed then after a difficult qualifying, let's just say the least. Then for Mushroom, he's got himself now into the top 9. And following on from Marvsky then, can he chase him down then and get himself into the into another higher points paying position as well? Then we'll find out. Then Smithy and Whitey medium compound tyres into P12. Then Mr. Elite right behind then in P13, mediums for him as well. Wow, There we go then. It's calmed down a bit now, thankfully. Needed it after the first few parts of the race. 1.6 seconds the gap then for Reflection. Then he is storming through, and he will be closing in then on Srivatsa then in the next few laps, or next couple of laps or so, I would imagine then at this pace. But he's harvesting then along the straight, which is not going to be good news indeed for his times and for his energy usage, that is. But nonetheless, that is the situation. Then Leeds have agreed a deal to sign someone there in the Sky Sports app, just popping up then with some breaking news, which is fantastic stuff indeed. Right then, lap 18, and we've got 7 laps to go then at the end of this one then. So far so good out there for the 16 drivers that remain. Unfortunately, there's 4 drivers then already out of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It is a driver claimer then, this circuit, isn't it? Because the high pace, the closeness of the walls then, and the speed that you're going through these sections as well then. Any slight wrong move then it can cause that car to go flying off into the wall then, as we saw with Liam unfortunately as well there. And a big shame indeed then, because I think, like I said, Liam could have been in for a good result here tonight as well. Then Rosa Sky has got himself past Real Ashton, who's into the pit lane. That's a bit early then for Real Ashton. He's done 8 laps on the hard compound tyres, but doesn't think they're going to be able to go to the end of the race then for the Rebel team. And boxing then to medium compound tyres then as well then for Real Ashton. Then Stephen Anthony goes through then for P13 I should say. Jake the Slayer is also coming to the pits as well then for the Racing Bull then, so that's interesting stuff indeed. Doesn't think those medium compound tyres might struggle towards the end of the Grand Prix actually, to be fair for Slayer, so maybe that's the right call there for the Racing Bull driver then when he sets the fastest lap of the race then into P15 as well then for the Ferrari driver. He has got penalties then to be named as well. I think Jet Slayer has had a wing change there as well, then goodness me. So he's got that sorted and back underway. Then 1.3 seconds the gap then for Reflection. Then he needs to get himself quickly into that DRS then of Srivatsa then, because he doesn't want to start losing the tyre performance then as well then for those medium compound tyres. Then lap 19 underway then on to lap 25 almost. It feels like it, but we've been flying through this race as Reflection locks up. That's not going to be good news for the tyre wear heading into the first corner there as well then for the Aston Martin. But so far so good then out in front. Then Rocket Lee is quite comfortable indeed. He extended the gap then slightly as well then to 4.6 seconds. Reflection then closing into Travanza then might be a bit of a problem then in the wing mirrors then of the Haas, rather than worrying about what's ahead of him as we go through into sector 2 and now then on lap 19. Then there are the 2 right behind as Reflection is closing. He's 1.2 seconds behind now and getting that gap slightly down as well. We're going through the first sector. Then let's see what he can do then into the next couple of sectors as well. Then can he get himself within that 1 second window then to get himself some DRS then, some much needed DRS boost along this circuit. Of course there's 4 DRS zones as well then, which is fantastic stuff indeed. There's also I found out as well, a side note, but I found out as well that they've added the 4th DRS, the second DRS, this 3rd DRS zone, sorry. Is it 3rd? Yeah, the 3rd DRS zone, sorry, in the Singapore Grand Prix as well then, which is fantastic. In the new section there where they removed the bit where you go into the stadium, they've actually put the DRS in then on this game, which is fantastic news indeed, because I hadn't realised it at all. I hadn't raced there. So there we go. Yeah, there we are then. So Reflection then struggling to get himself within that 1 second window then of the Haas. Could be costly indeed then for that P2 position then for Reflection as well then, because he's going to be starting to feel the effects of those medium compound tyres drifting off then in terms of the tyre situation, the tyre wear situation that is, in the next couple of laps or so. Then Srivatsa then into turn 1 and 2, then lap 20 has commenced, then the gap still equal, then 1 second almost then between Reflection and Srivatsa as we head into sector 1, and it's getting closer and closer. Then that gap is coming down. Reflection is on a charge, and can he get himself that P2 position? Can he make it an Aston Martin 1-2? We've had a McLaren 1-2 in this season so far, as when he picked up a penalty as well going through into sector 3. But yeah, as we've had a McLaren 1-2 just yesterday then in silver, then back-to-back 1-2s in fact for the McLaren team in silver. Can Aston Martin start off the repeat then in bronze as well then for Reflection and for Rocket Lee as well, then as we go through then into sector 2. The gap just about over 1 second then for Srivatsa then to keep Reflection out of that 1 second window. But now I think he might have that DRS available then for the Aston Martin as we go through into the depths of sector 2. That rear wing does open then for Reflection as we go through now into sector Sector 3, and now Reflection is going to be closing in even more then with that DRS window open as well then on the rear of that Aston Martin, heading through into lap 21 momentarily now as well. Driver of the day is out in the comment section, and Reflection, Rocket League, Dynamo Dan and Hungary Styles are your position changes. No, you're not. No, are your candidates, sorry, for driver of the day. All of them have held places so far, but of course that could change. Then Reflection looking to make the make the change then as quickly as possible then in terms of the position then for P2. Srivatsan then under pressure then heading into lap 21 now into turn 1, but not quite then for Reflection. Then car number 2 a bit too far back then into the first turn, then heading on to lap 21 we go then. This is the closest gap then. We've got Marsky then and Serious Mushroom as well. The Mushroom a candidate for driver of the day in my opinion as well then, as is Rosa Sky to be fair, as we go through then into the final couple of corners. And the goodness me, there's all sorts of action here because it's almost 3 wide then into the final corner. Then Marsky, Mushroom and Rosa Sky is side by side, and we go through into the final corner. Then Rosa Sky has snuck through then into P8, then passing Mushroom. I think he's going to have some DRS as well to play with. No, Mushroom's got the DRS then heading in towards turn 1. Then can he get himself back past the kick salve then into turn 1 as well? Then not quite, then heading into the braking zone there, and we stay status quo then. But both Rosa then and Serious Mushroom have done a great job there of recovering in this race as well. Then Marsky then onto a new set of boots as well then, has done a 2-stop in this race here at the same time I think as well. So fair play indeed making 2-stop work. But yeah, goodness me, goodness knows how you've done that as well to be fair, because that is extraordinary. But there we are then. Mushroom then I think getting a bit wash of air then over the front wing, then causing the from the dirty air then of that kick salve, and is now under pressure from Marsky heading into the hairpin then of sector 2. Lovely over the camera, over the shoulder shot, I should say, then of the camera angle heading into the hairpin. Then Marsky then stays behind them, but now Rosa Sky has stormed off. Then he's got 15 seconds to try and catch up to his teammate. He's only got 4 laps to do it. Then unfortunately, I'm not quite sure that's going to be enough. Then right back to this battle here as well. Then for P2 then, and Reflection is closing in. Then he's closing in more then in towards turn 1, but lap 22 now has commenced then, and unfortunately Reflection is still stuck behind the Haas then with only 3.5 laps to go or so in this Grand Prix as well. Then fantastic stuff indeed so far. Then Marsky, then Mushroom and Smithy Almighty now join this fight as well then for P9 as well at this point. Jake the Slayer's picked up another penalty. Goodness me, unfortunately for Slayer, then it's not going his way tonight then, but the penalties then are racking up then for both Winnie and for Slayer then. They are the only 2 out of there at the moment then with the penalty situations, and 2 stops then for the majority of the field apart from Marsky, Mushroom for the top 7 as well then. Goodness me, so Rosa Sky on a 2-stop strategy is doing a fantastic job from P20 on the grid in my opinion. Brilliant stuff indeed. Here he comes then into turn 1, then side by side there. What are we going to be doing here as we go through into turn 2? And wow, it's close indeed. These 3 then are putting on a fight then as we go in towards turn 4. Then Marsky has the position. You can't dive down there because that's going to be too dangerous then for Mushroom, but he managed to think much smarter than I would do. And oh god, then he's all over the place there as well. And now Smithy Almighty trying to get himself through as well then as we head into the horrible part of sector 1 then, and the dirty air then really affecting Serious Mushroom's car. It looks like then going through in towards sector 2 then he's almost lost the DRS then to Marsky then, which put him under pressure from Smithy even more. And Mr. Elite, his teammate, is coming through as well then in P12 then, trying to catch up here in the dying embers of this Grand Prix as well. Then here comes the once again the battle then down towards turn 1 for Reflection and Srivatsa. Then 5 seconds the gap then to Rocket League, who's extending that gap slightly even more every sector, up to 5.4 seconds now as well then for the Rocket. He is really flying out there and having a great time as well, then just maybe taking it easy at this point of the race then with the gaps that he's got then to the rest of his rivals. Then Dynamo Dan then cementing himself a P4 position, then of course still outscoring his championship rival of Rosa Sky then, which will be fantastic news because Dynamo Dan will take over the lead of the championship then, and Hungry Styles also scoring some big points here tonight as well then. Smithy and White is past. Oh, no, he hasn't. Yes, he has. He's passed Marsky and Mushroom then into the final corner. Then, oh, God, that's going to be close indeed. And that is exactly what happened on the previous lap. But this time, Smithy then sort of abandoned the move. Then, didn't he? He tried to get himself out of the way then of Marsky then to make sure that he could get himself through. Then, and Smithy holds on to the position. Then P9 for the Ferrari. Then P10 for the Mercedes and P11 for the Alpine. Then, and here is Mr. Elite then, who is right behind. We've got a yellow flag. Then it's not Snowden Anthony. Then it's what's happening? Is it Rocket League? No, thank goodness me, it's not. It's Reflection, then it's the other Aston Martin. Reflection's had an issue somewhere. He's lost a lot of time to Srivatsan then, and I think, unfortunately then for Reflection, that is his charge then for that P2 potentially done and dusted then as well. Then unfortunately for Reflection then it has come awry then in Sector 2, and well, at least it's all at least it's all good then, I suppose. He hasn't lost any positions or got any damage there as well then, but he just had a bit of an off there for Reflection. He's still back underway then. He's still got a substantial gap then to Dynamo Dan then to hold on to that podium place as well for Reflection here. 6 seconds the gap between the race leader then and Travatsa, then another 5 seconds back to Reflection. Unfortunately, those medium compound tyres may be giving way I should say then in this last few laps then. 10 laps now on the mediums then for Reflection. He's got to do another 2 then on this set of tyres then to get to the end of the Grand Prix. But there we are then, fantastic stuff indeed then. It's been brilliant racing, to be fair, out there as well then. It's been, well, for the drivers who've got themselves through there, unfortunately there was a bit of a shenanigans then at the final turn then, which we've seen plenty of times before then between a couple of drivers then, and then a few others went into the back of them there as well, which is just typical of the of the scene. And of course that corner is pretty blind indeed as well then, so you can't really just ease off because you know something's going to be waiting for you around that corner then. In gold even as well then, I went round that final corner then and saw Lucas Percy then facing towards me, and thankfully he ghosted, because otherwise it would have been horrible for everybody. But yeah, so yeah, if you go around that final corner then it's a bit blind then, and you can't really get yourself out of the way then, as Marvsky picks up a 3-second bonus then. That's going to be costly indeed then, because both the Alpines could pick up on that position as well then to Marvsky if they get themselves a jiggle on then as well then. We'll wait and see. San has got himself into DRS then of Hungry Stars then, so San could be putting some pressure on the Racing Bull for that P5 position in the last few knockings of this Grand Prix. Then out in front, Rocket Lee about to start the final lap of the Grand Prix. Then lap 25 has started then for the race leader, heading on to the final lap of the Grand Prix now for Rocket Lee. Ginger Rage said, rather old Singapore layout, says Ginger Rage. Goodness me, no, I don't want that. Voted Rocket, he done well to get out of DRS and push at the right time then, says Wetcross as well. Then Rocket domination, says Ginger Rage then. So far, so good then as well. Then Rocket then looking on form then from the get-go here tonight, to be fair. Then from pole position to the checkered flag, and there's a Racing Bull just trying to get himself out of the way there. But my goodness me. So there we are then, as we go through then into Sector 2 then for the final time. Then yellow flags. What's going on out here then? My goodness me, what is going on out here? There's a yellow flag for a Mercedes there as well. Is that Marvsky? Has Marvsky run out of fuel here? Oh goodness me, then Marvsky's run out of fuel then onto the final lap then for Marvsky. Then that's going to be really problematic indeed. Can he coast to the line then? I'm not quite sure. He's coming into the pit lane actually. So unfortunately that could be a pit and quit then for Marvsky, which is going to be a big problem indeed. And maybe he was expecting some sort of safety car, and it is a pit and quit then for Marvsky as well then. Goodness me then. So well, that's going to promote Real Ashton and Winnie and Stephen Anthony and Jake the Slayer into the points paying positions as well then, which is brilliant stuff indeed. Actually maybe not Jake the Slayer, to be fair, because unfortunately he's a lap down now, so he needs to get himself back past Rocket Lee as quickly as possible then to be able to get himself back on the lead lap then, and at least get that P15 position as well then. But I'm not sure if he knows that, and Rocket Lee doesn't know that either, I don't think. But nonetheless then, Rocket Lee is going to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Then Rocket Lee crosses the line to claim victory here in Jeddah. Then a fantastic race win from pole position to the checkered flag. Rocket Lee wins here in Saudi Arabia then for the Aston Martin team. Then what a race result then for Rocket Lee. What a performance indeed from quali to the race result as well then for Rocket Lee. Well done indeed, and well deserved indeed. That win then is going to be a fantastic boost then for his championship hopes as well then, of course. And well done indeed then for Sriracha as well then. P2 then tonight then, 4 seconds off the pace then in the end then from the race leader as well then. But a fantastic battle in the first stint as well then between the two of them. Reflection then, unfortunately then, he's on the right strategy I think in my eyes. Unfortunately then, that mistake then in the final laps then of this stint as well then for the medium compound tyre then has cost him a chance for P2, but he still gets himself a podium position then for the Aston Martin. Then double podium then for Aston Martin. Then fantastic stuff indeed. Dynamo Dan in P4 in the end for Williams. Then brilliant result then for Dynamo Dan as well then, of course, getting himself back up into the top of the championship standings as well then with that result as well then, compared to Rosa Sky's performance then in P7 then. But a very good result from Rosa Sky as well then, to be fair, from P20 on the grid. Then Hungry Star was a fantastic result again then for P5 in the Racing Bull. Then San then P6, a good result for the McLaren. Rosa Sky oh god sorry, Rosa Sky in P7 just ahead of his teammate as well then in P8 then for Ballin, and we'll run through the rest of the order then as well then. Cos Rocket overtook me. Mars still gets the final point. That's a joke then, says Moments then. Well, it's, yeah, because he was on the lead lap still. But there we go. Then, oh, I skipped the podium. I was just busy sneezing then, but to be fair. Rocket League then is the champion then for Saudi Arabia. Then he wins here in Jeddah as well. Then Srivatsa in P2, then Reflection P3, Dynamo Dan P4, Stars P5, then San in P6, Rosy Sky and Ballon then P8, P7 and P8 respectively for the Kick Sabres. Smithy Almighty in P9, then Serious Mushroom in P10, then Mr. Elite P11, Real Ashton in P12, once again then scoring some big points then for the Red Bull team. Stephen Anthony in P13, then Winnie in P14 with the fastest snaps as well, then Marsky P15, Jet the Slayer P16, then Liam, actually Marsky DNF'd in this race as well to be fair, then Liam in P17 DNF in turn 4, then Goddard's and Jamie in the pit lane, and DeCanco got disqualified for pointing in the wrong direction for some reason, but not sure exactly what happened. Cool. All right, then. We'll crack on with some race interviews, I think. Then we'll start off with our race winner then of Rocket League. And Rocket League, after that fantastic qualifying, you set yourself up for a brilliant race as well then. And it went your way then in the Grand Prix as well, to be fair. You stormed off in that second stint. Can you tell us about your race from your point of view?
Oh, I enjoyed it. The first stint I wasn't particularly happy with. The mediums weren't feeling great, but the hards, I'll happily do it again.
Great stuff indeed then. We're not planning on running it again, to be fair, and I'm not going to commentate on that. But well done indeed then. And you put yourself, like I said, on pole position then. Were you confident that you were going to get pole position tonight then, or was there some potential that Srivatsa then, or even your teammate Reflection, could rival you for that pole?
I knew the chances were there to get pole, but to have Srivatsa so close by a tenth, that's an incredible lap. To have my teammate Reflection on P3, epic drive for Aston Martin, 1 and 3.
And it was a fantastic result for Aston Martin then in the championship as well. Then really cements your positions and bringing you both up the order in the drivers and of course in the constructors as well. Then do you think there's going to be more to come from both you two then in the next few races as well? Then can you get yourselves both challenging for those P1s and P2s in the next few laps or new tracks, I should say?
Well, I've got the confidence we can.
That's all we need to know then. Good stuff indeed then. Well done. Congratulations then, Rocket League then. P1 tonight then for Aston Martin. A very fantastic race result then for the Aston Martin team as well then. And we'll hopefully see you back next week. Good stuff. Who is P2? I think we've got Srivatsa then as well then in P2. Good stuff from the reserve tonight then in the Haas then. Tell us about your race from your point of view as well. And you were rivaling Rocket League then in the first stint very, very closely indeed, and of course took the lead in some occasions. What happened then in the second stint to put you off, I suppose you could say, because it seemed like the gap was quite steady then between Rocket League and yourself in that second stint on the hards?
I think first stint, I'm still getting used to the third year. I'm struggling a lot, but I think that was compensated in the first stint with the DRS. So I was able to match his pace. But second stint, I think I made a mistake on the in lap, and out lap I had traffic, and he pulled like 3-4 seconds overall, and that just stayed steady. But nevertheless, I think he was quicker. I think he was able to follow me much more closer in the third year than I could. So I think he well-deserved win to Rocket, of course. He was, I think, a touch 10th quicker in the first sector. That probably made the difference. So congrats to him. So yeah, overall, I would say it was a sweaty race in the second half because I think Reflection went a little bit early onto the mediums. His mediums are going to die 12 laps. So I just tried to keep him behind as long as possible in the dirt air until his tires start to fall off, because I knew that on this game, old tires and dirt air are like a very bad combination. So I was waiting, and thankfully, he did make a mistake and I was able to keep P2. But yeah, maybe if he had pitted 1 or 2 laps later, he would have been able to charge up ahead to me. But overall, fun race and very clean. So yeah, congrats to the Aston Martin drivers, both of them, Reflection and Rocket.
You summed it up very nicely there indeed. I have no more questions, but a very, very good race indeed from yourself once again then, of course, after last week as well then, and hopefully we see you back for some more racing as well then, in any ALR variation as well. We'll see you soon, but congratulations as well, Srivatsa then as well then, P2 tonight then in the Haas. as well. We'll jump over to Reflection as well, who's joined us. Reflection, and are you happy with that P3, or did you think there was more on the cards than in that second stint?
Nah, I was very happy with P3. Shivatsa summed it up right. I went a lap or two too early onto the mediums, but I didn't want to lose too much time to them, knowing that I was losing time on the old hards. So that's why I thought I'd take the risk, and I just caught the curb, which sent me into a half spin. But yeah, now very happy. Congratulations to the top two. They drove a fantastic race today.
And do you think, as Rocket alluded to as well, then do you reckon that Aston Martin could be on a charge for a constructors' title here?
I think so. I think so. If we can both put in some clean races, we've had the pace. Just for one thing to another, it's just not gone our way. And plus, Rocket missed a race also. But I think we could have a good shot at the championship. We both seem to be up there in qualifying at least. So if we can just clean up my race pace a little bit, I think we'll both be there.
Good stuff indeed. And race pace didn't look too bad then. P3 tonight then for Reflection as well then. Great result indeed then for both yourself and for Aston Martin as well, like we said. But congratulations then to Reflection P3 tonight then for Aston Martin. Of course, Srivatsa then P2 for the Haas, and Rocket Lee, our race winner in Jeddah then for the Aston Martin as well then. We'll see you tomorrow night for some 100% action in Japan. No hards allowed then in Japan then for the race, that is. Not that you want to use them in qualifying. So we'll see you then for some more action then tomorrow night then for 100% Japan, and we'll be back in action then as well then in Miami then from gold, silver and bronze then from Sunday night. Stay tuned to ALR. We'll see you very soon.
Thank you.